Hello and welcome. You are watching Buy Now Sell Now with me, Somit Sarkar, and my co-anchor Shreyansi Singh. Well, when it comes to the market, Nifty is largely flat, no much of an action that we are seeing. Just every rise that we are seeing in the benchmark is getting sold off, so Nifty is largely flat. But when it comes to sector specific, we are seeing some strong buying action when it comes to the Nifty Realty Index, Nifty Pharma, Nifty Small Cap, and Nifty IT Index is one index that we need to keep an eye out for, because when the market was falling, the Nifty IT Index largely remained flat, and today we are seeing the second straight days of gain when it comes to the Nifty IT Index. On the weakness side, it's Nifty FMCG and the Nifty PSU Bank that are among the top sectoral losers in trade. When it comes to stock specific action, we are seeing strong surge when it comes to Jubilant Foodworks and UPL. Jubilant Foodworks is gaining post the company reported a stable set of numbers. The stock is gaining because the numbers are pretty much better when compared to its peers. And also the commentary coming in from the management was pretty strong. On UPL also, we are seeing a strong gains on the back of the 16% volume growth and the guidance that the company has largely maintained despite missing the street estimates. Apart from that, on the loser side, when it comes to FNO stocks, the top loser continues to be in trade continues to be Britannia after a weak set of numbers. MCX, Godrej Consumer, Voltas, mostly consumer facing stocks are seeing a weakness in trade. Apart from that, Asian Paints was also weak in trade in the morning. Newland Lab in the cash stocks is one stock we need to keep an eye out for. It's up around 12% in trade, and this is after news reports which are suggesting that one of the drug approvals for its peers was not approved, and hence Newland now stands to gain the most out of this because they will be able to capture a larger market because its peer has not got the approval for that particular drug to come in. Well, that's pretty much what's happening in the market, Shreyansi.
Well, absolutely, and there's lots to keep an eye on when it comes to the market. But first things first, let's start taking all of your stock-related queries. Before we do that, viewers, on the top of your screens as well as on your screens, you should be seeing the number that you can write to us at. And when you write to us for fresh buying ideas, do remember to mention the buying horizon that you have in mind, the time horizon that you have in mind. On your screens, you can see the number that you can write to us at. And when you do mention the stocks that you're already invested in, make sure that you tell us the buy price that you have, as well as what you have in mind in terms of the query as well. But first things first, let's kickstart taking all of your stock related queries. Today on the show, we're going to be joined by Rajesh Agarwal, Head of Research at AUM Capital, as well as Dhwani Patel, who's the founder at Finversify. Hi, thank you so much. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. But first things first, I'm going to come to you, Rajesh, because we do have Amara Raja Battery that we have a query about coming in from Vignesh from Bangalore, who's writing to us about this counter that he has 305 shares of at a buy price of 1,350. What do you have in mind when it comes to this one then?
Good morning. Good morning, Somit. Good morning, Dhwani. Amara Raja, we are very bullish on this because of the fact that it's one of the largest OEM players catering to the entire auto space. Almost every big names are their clients, and even the replacement market is doing well. Month on month, the auto numbers have been exciting, except for the last 1 or 2 months where we have seen the inventory being piled up. But still, going forward, we think that the fact that auto is going to do well, and not to forget they are moving into EV also. So I think one can continue to hold this stock for a medium to long term horizon. These kind of correction which we are witnessing at this point of time is just because of market conditions and the fact that some of the companies have given very bad numbers. But still, for a long term horizon, I think Amara Raja is a good pick.
Query is coming in from Bharatwaj from Coimbatore. He has around 490 shares of Praj Industries bought at an average price of 533 rupees. He wants to know whether should he continue to add more of this counter at the current market price, because he can continue to hold this stock for the next 2 to 4 years. So Rajesh, what would be your view when it comes to Praj Industries? Also, he wants to know if not Praj Industries, then any other stock in the ethanol production space that could be a good buy at the current levels?
See, there are two. There are a number of stocks, but two stand out in the ethanol space. One is Praj and the other is India Glycol. I think both of them are good long-term bets. One can continue to hold. The ethanol story is going to be there for some more period of time. Government is increasing the blending ratios also going forward. Even the price increases are in the anvil. So I think one can continue to hold Praj, and if somebody wants to put some new money to, one can even buy India Glycols.
So that's a buy recommendation coming in on India Glycols from Rajesh. Dhwani, I'm going to come to you because we have an investor who's written to us about a host of counters. Venkatesh Reddy writing to us from Bengaluru. Now he wants to know which of these counters he can look to buy. Now the ones that he has on his list are L&T Finance, AV Capital, IDFC Bank, Poonawalla as well as Manappuram Finance. Which are the ones that you would be bullish on then?
Okay, there are a lot of counters that we're talking about over here. A couple of them on which I am eyeing on currently at these levels. The first one is LTF over here, where we are looking up on the chartable structure. And now what I can say is that on the weekly structure, the stock is bottoming out. We've seen that near the same levels earlier, we've seen a point of reversal coming in. So it's near the point of polarity, given the prices stabilize around 135 to 130 levels. It's a good time to enter into this particular counter. So this one can be kept up on the radar. And once the prices are reached, this one is where we enter. But immediate entry would be recommended in Manappuram from the current price level, because in this particular counter, we've seen that the bottoming has happened. In fact, since this, for last 4 sessions, the stock is taking a support around 145 levels, and from there we are seeing a constant bounce coming in. So Manappuram can be added at the current price level. It's going to be a very short-term trade opportunity that we are looking up at. On the higher side, 185 to 190 is what are the targets for this one, and stop loss on the lower side has to be maintained in this counter at 138.
Right. The next query is coming in from Thomas George from Cochin. He has around 100 shares of Indian Hotels bought at a price of 125 rupees per share. He's already sitting on a very strong gains here. Rajesh, what should he do? Should he exit this counter or continue to hold?
If say, time is not the constraint, you continue to hold. Even we have a buy recommendation on this for a target of maybe 850 odd rupees in the next 1 year or so. They're expanding rapidly. Number of hotels are going up. There is shortage of room inventory, I would say, and with the kind of brand this company has, the kind of number of room, average room rates have gone up. So everything goes in favor of this. And not to forget, in the next 1.5 months or so, there are 48 lakh marriages going in the country, and that's going to add to the numbers this quarter, third quarter too. So one can continue to hold, buy on depths. That would be a strategy on Indian Hotels. Long term, medium term target is 850.
All right, and all the weddings that are lined up are going to be the wind in the sail when it comes to IHCL. But Dhwani, I'm going to come to you with the next one because Nikhil Sharma is writing to us from Mumbai. Wants to know about Titan. Do you have any buy price in mind for this one then?
Particularly right now, I do not have any, let's say, technically a buyer price over here, because the support level is definitely there around 3,050 odd levels, but that has not been tested as yet. So there is a certain dip that you can expect the stock would show in short-term basis. Given we reach down on the lower side at 3,050 levels, that is where one can revisit it and look up at buying opportunities.
The next query is coming in from Hemchandra, and he's holding a few 630 shares of Heritage Food. No, sorry, actually he is holding 500 shares of Heritage Food, bought at a price of 630. He wants to know whether should he continue to average more at current levels of for Heritage Foods, and he can hold these shares for the next 12 months. Rajesh, any view on Heritage Foods?
See, one can continue to hold, but averaging at this point of time would be recommended because of the kind of performance it has shown in the recent past. So better to wait for some good numbers to come in, or even the consumption story going up. For a long-term horizon, yes, it's a good stock. Continue to hold, but not to average at this point of time. There are better choices, and even in the FMCG space, you have better names to invest into. Maybe a ITC or a Marico would be a better choice.
Marico is a better choice when you compare it with Heritage Foods, and that's the view coming in from Rajesh as well. But time for a very quick break. When we come back, we'll continue taking all of your stock-related queries and get you an earnings picture as well coming in for the Bank of India. Time for a quick break, then see you on the other side.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now. The next query is coming in from Siddharth from Bangalore. He's asking which is the best NBFC out of these three, that is PNB Housing Finance, L&T Finance and IFL Finance. He can hold any of these three counters for the next 1 to 2 years. Rajesh, what would be your view when it comes to PNB Housing, L&T Finance and IFL Finance? Which one of these three is the best?
See, out of these three, I would go for PNB Housing. That's doing much better than other two, I would say. But in the entire NBFC space, we are more bullish on names like Geo Financial or the Poonawalla Finance, which are going to do well. The numbers have been quite good for Poonawalla for the last few quarters, and even Geo with the kind of prospects it's showing. We think that these two companies are going to outperform these three names.
For that update coming in fact, that take coming in. Dhwani, I'm going to come back to you because Jay Krishnan is writing to us from Kerala, wants to know if you have any entry points in mind for a couple of counters, and the ones that make it to his list are Dixon Tech as well as Trent. So what do you have in mind when it comes to these two?
Talking about these two counters in particular that he's asking about, Dixon, of course, we've seen a good amount of rise coming in, but in the recent times, we are seeing that the stock is facing certain stagnation around the higher levels, and from there we are not seeing much of a buying action coming in. 16,000 is acting out as a good resistance over here in Dixon Tech. So given that point crosses out, then it's a fair entry for this particular counter. And talking about Trent as well, over here we definitely saw certain bullish momentum that was there in the stock, but then given 8,000 levels did not surpass, and from there we are constantly seeing a correction coming in this counter. Given any fall in this one over near 6,000, 6,050 odd levels, that is a good time to enter into this particular counter because that is where the support zone lies for this one. So we can definitely expect a certain correction still due for both the counters.
Dhwani, what would be your view when it comes to HDFC Bank? Because Sushil Kumar from Trichy has been holding this counter from a level of 1,632 and wants to know whether should he continue to hold or sell. HDFC Bank bought at a price of 1,632.
Yes, of course, HDFC Bank, I mean, if it's from a long-term perspective, it's a no-brainer that you're looking up at a good counter to hold on into your portfolio. But if you're looking up at short-term trade entries over here, then it's time to book in your profits in this particular counter because 1,800 has been acting out as a resistance since quite some time in this counter. We've seen the two retest also of the same level happening, and we are trading somewhere around the same levels as well. So it's time to book profits for a short-term perspective, but given the view is long term, then hold on to it. And for a long term perspective, the stop loss on the lower side would be at 1630.
That's a take coming in on HDFC Bank, but let's keep it going on some of the banking counters. Then Rajesh, I'm going to come to you because we do have Professor Chalam writing to us from Andhra Pradesh, wants to know about three counters actually. IDFC First Bank is the first one. We've discussed that briefly, PFC as well, and our Reliance also is one of the counters that is making it to his list of three counters. So IDFC First Bank, PFC and RIL, which are the ones that you're keeping in mind in terms of the long-term targets then?
For long-term, Reliance is no-brainer. It's going to be one of the good performer in the long term, I would say. Maybe somebody is holding for 2 years down the line. I think once some corporate action on Reliance Retail or Jio is announced, there would be a strong up move in this counter. It has corrected almost 20% from its top, and that's one of the cushions it's giving. OTC business had not done that well, but when we look at Jio, the ARPUs has gone up to 195 rupees. The Reliance Retail stores are in excess of 18,000 odd stores, and they're doing very well, not only on the telecom part, but also the retail part. And despite the kind of capex this company is having, the debt to EBITDA ratio is on a comfortable level. I think everything goes in favor of Reliance. It's just a matter of time when the stock starts performing. And if somebody is looking for a longer term time horizon, by longer term I mean at least 2 years, this is the best pick.
This is the best pick coming in from all of those three counters. But Rajesh, I'm going to come back to you because out of these three counters that I mentioned, do you think he can add at dips when it comes to any of these three counters except Reliance?
Sorry?
Do you think that he can add at dips when it comes to these three counters, that is IDFC First Bank, PFC as well as Reliance?
See, adding PFC can be a good idea at this point of time. With the kind of numbers which we have witnessed 2-3 days back, the numbers were good. Asset quality has improved, and the management have come out with a strong commentary. PFC can be a good can give good returns. IDFC First Bank we would be like to wait for some more time before entering. Maybe some amount of correction around 10-15% from the current level would be a good level to enter. Not at this point of time. Basically, due to the fact that there are better names in the banking space, be in the private sector, be it Axis Bank or HDFC is a better name, or in public sector you have State Bank or Bank of Maharashtra, which have given very good numbers.
The next query is coming in from Padma, and she wants to know whether is it a good time to buy AU Small Finance Bank, Federal Bank and Maharashtra Bank and M&M. Dhwani, any view on these four counters, AU Bank, Federal Bank, Maharashtra Bank and M&M?
So out of these counters, I would suggest that one can look up at Federal Bank from the current rates because given the chart structures, definitely we do see a certain stagnation coming in, but it's near a breakout point as well. 210 surpassed on the higher side is where we'll see new range opening up for this counter, and overall on the weeklies as well, the momentum is on the increasing side. So yes, Federal Bank is one of the picks out of the names that we're discussing, and the stop loss for this one has to be on the lower side at 198 levels, and on the short term basis you can look up at 230 to 235 as a target.
Alright, so that's the take coming in on Federal Bank as well. I'm going to come back to you, Rajesh, because Seshama is writing to us from Chengalpattu, wants to know about a couple of counters. Now, Wipro and HUL are the ones that they're looking at, and when you take a look at Wipro, wants to know if it was purchased at 509 rupees, what do you have in mind when it comes to this counter? And when you take a look at HUL as well, wants to know if it is the right time to buy, in fact, at this point.
See, taking one by one, Wipro, although a good company, I don't think it's going to perform much better than its peers like Infosys or TCS, even HCL Tech. What I would suggest, you're sitting on a profit, book some profit in Wipro, switch to HCL Tech or Infosys or TCS that have good prospects of doing better, strong balance sheet, everything goes in their favor. And as far as HUL is concerned, we have seen volume drops coming in, not only from rural, but still urban too. And we are skeptical about any volume gains in the near future. It would be better to wait for new entry. The better picks, as I said sometimes back, was ITC and Marico. Somebody putting new money into FMCG, ITC would be a better bet, or a Marico would be a better bet.
The next query is coming in from Bhaskaran from Chennai, and he wants to know, Dhwani, what would be your view for the next 6 months when it comes to Infibeam and Ramco Siemens?
Because talking about Infibeam first over here, given the 6-month horizon that he has, definitely the stock is doing well, but we are seeing a certain downtick coming in on this one. And from the lower levels, the buy can be initiated again for 25 odd levels. And from there, you can look up at the support level working out well for Infibeam. And as far as Ramco Siemens is concerned, in this particular counter, it's a good time to enter now itself into this one, given that in today's session, and in fact from the last 3 sessions, the stock is holding up above its short-term moving averages and has taken support of all the important DMAs on a weekly structure actually over here. And I'm looking up at targets on the higher side at 1,030, and on the lower side, stop loss that ideally one has to maintain over here is going to be of 825.
All right, so that's the take coming in as far as Ramco Cements is concerned. But I'm going to come back to you, Rajesh, because we do have Venu, who's a senior citizen, writing to us from Chennai, wants to know about Deepak Nitrite. What do you have in mind for this one? Because he is holding 50 shares at a buy price of 2,900 rupees.
See, sorry, chemicals has seen a big cut in the last 1 year or so, and we think that the entire sector is going to bottom out very soon with the kind of demand coming back, and especially Deepak Nitrite, where you have a whole lot of products. They have done their capex in phenolics and all. The numbers have started improving. I think one can even add at these levels.
Okay, the next query is coming in from Gautam from Mumbai. He's holding few shares of he's not holding. He wants to know whether is it a good time to buy Ola Electric, because the share prices are now near or below the IPO price, and he can continue to hold this counter if at all he buys for the next 12 to 18 months. Rajesh, what would be your view for Ola Electric?
See, the numbers have improved this quarter, but the fact remains it's still in a loss. And I don't think that in the near future the losses are going to wipe out. Maybe the numbers are not going to be positive in the near future, I would like to say. They hold a good market share. They're planning to increase their market share, planning to increase the number of retail stores, but there are quality concerns going forward. And the kind of competition heating up in the EV space, I think it should not be prudent to enter into this. Maybe a kind of bounce back from the current levels is quite possible, considering the fact that it has corrected from 150 odd levels to 75. That's almost 50%. A bounce back here and there is quite possible, but for investors, I think it's good to avoid.
So good to avoid. That's the recommendation coming in on Ola Electric from Rajesh. But time for a very quick break. When we come back, we'll continue taking all of your stock-related queries, viewers. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned in. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. I'm going to come to you, Rajesh, with the next query then, because we do have Satya Veni, who's writing to us from Visakhapatnam, wants to know about Glenmark Pharma. 30 shares at a buy price of 1,790 rupees. What is your take when it comes to Glenmark Pharma then, Rajesh?
You know, to hold, I would say, pharma, apart from IT, is the next sector which is going to be benefited in the next 1 year or so. These two sectors are going to outperform as per our house views. So I think not only Glenmark, but other companies are also very good buys at this level. As far as Glenmark is concerned, with the kind of product profile, the kind of balance sheet it has, I think one can continue to hold.
Queries from Venkat Rao from Visakhapatnam. He's a senior citizen and a long-term investor as well. He wants to purchase Bharat Dynamics and RVNL now for 1 year. Is it a good time to buy both these counters, Rajesh?
They have corrected quite a lot, no doubt on that. The defense pack and the railway pack, both have corrected. But you never know what is the bottom of this. For a long-term investor, I would suggest buying a staggered way. Bharat Dynamics is a better play, I would say, rather than going for RVNL. RVNL wait for some more correction, but Bharat Dynamics, yes, one could buy in a staggered way for a long-term horizon.
Alright, then we have Rajesh's take coming in on Bharat Dynamics. Dhwani, I'm going to come to you because we do have Balan writing to us about 5 counters that he has on his radar at this point. He wants to buy 3 out of these 5. Now, the ones that make it to his list are MCX, CDSL, SBI, Bharat Dynamics, making it to this list as well as BEML. So, which are the ones that you would pick out of these?
All right. Talking about these one by one, starting from MCX, definitely MCX is where one can enter into, but on the current prices, the stock is there to take a certain dip as well. So any dip you're getting in this counter around 6,000 odd levels, so that's a good price to enter into MCX. Talking about CDSL, in this counter, definitely we are seeing a certain sideways momentum that's continued in this one, but then there is a shortfall or coming in from the lower side where we are seeing that the prices are taking support on the higher level as well. So given a breakout and this one comes above 1640 levels, that is where the fresh entry in this counter is expected. So you can keep both of these stocks on radar and work on level specific details that are we do.
Well, the next query is coming in from Subramaniam from Chennai. He's holding 25 shares of NMDC, bought at a price of 126 rupees. Should he continue to hold or sell this counter for short-term gains? Dhwani, what would be your view here for NMDC?
NMDC, of course, we've been seeing that the stock has been holding, a high up in trade given the lows of the day today. But looking at a broader perspective on the dailies, the stock is trading into a range on the lower side. 210 is where it's finding its support, and on the higher side, the breakout is expected about 245 to 250 odd levels. So it's a range trade that's going on right now, and for the position that he's holding, I would recommend a stop loss on the lower side here at 215 and give it a hold.
Alright, so that's a hold coming in on NMDC then. Rajesh, I'm going to come to you with the next query because OSN Reddy is writing to us from Hyderabad, wants to know about Asian Paints. Now he has 25 shares at a loss of 12% at this point. Hold, average or sell, what is your recommendation on this?
The numbers were pretty bad. 48-49% drop in bottom line was not expected, and despite the fact that crude was trading at less than $80 for the entire period of time. I think there is more of a downside left in this stock. I won't say that the company is bad. The company has given good returns in the long term. And maybe after a 10% correction, it would be a better buy. But at this point of time, I would say stay put, continue to hold. In this quarter, we expect better numbers to come because of the festival season being extended to this quarter. But still, the numbers were very bad. Margins have contracted. So wait for 1 or 2 more quarters to see the numbers.
Okay. The next query is coming in from Sali Devi from Kerala, and she wants to know whether is it the right time to enter Indigo. Dhwani, what's your technical view when it comes to Interglobe Aviation?
Yeah, of course, the stock has definitely seen a fall, and then with the gap down that we've seen in this particular counter, which happened somewhere around 4,300 odd levels. From there, the stock has been trading lower. In fact, it is trading below the investors' moving average, which is the 200 DMA over here. So, of course, it's not a good time to enter into this counter. Let the stock stabilize the fall over here, come to a halt, and then it would be right time to enter in here.
All right, so wait for a while before you enter Interglobe Aviation. Then Rajesh, I'm going to come to you because we do have Rama writing to us from Hyderabad, wants to know about a couple of counters, Dr. Reddy's as well as RIL. Now, you've already told us that you're quite bullish when it comes to Reliance Industries, but tell us about Dr. Reddy's. What do you have in mind when it comes to this particular counter?
See, Dr. Reddy's numbers have been good, I would say. It's doing very well. They have a strong product profile, going to launch new products in the near future. I think everything goes in favor of this company. Maybe one can buy this stock for a target of 1,500 odd levels in the next 6 months.
The next query is coming in from Thrissur, from Matthew from Thrissur, Kerala. He's holding BPCL call options, November expiry, 310 is the strike price. He has around 10 lots bought at a price of 9.5 rupees. Dhwani, any target on this one?
He's bought 300 call options over here. I'm sorry, I missed the price at which he's bought it.
Bought 10 lots of 310 call price, November expiry at a price of 9.5 rupees.
Okay, given he's bought it and the price is trading right now on the higher side, we are trading somewhere around 10.5 rupees over here. In this counter, I do see that a certain stagnation will be faced on the higher side around 320 to 325 odd levels, and from the current levels, in fact, in the day's trade also, we are seeing that the stock is trading negative. So in my suggestion, book profits over here in this one.
All right, so that's a take coming in on BPCL as well. I'm going to come to you, Rajesh, for the next one. What do you have in mind when it comes to Adani Power? Is that something that you're keeping on your radar as well?
See, one can continue to hold. For adding at this point of time, I would stay wait for new purchases. But for long term, with the kind of capacity it has, with the kind of big plan this company has, they have power shortage in the country and they are exporting to neighboring countries too. I think this company has got very good prospects going ahead. But at this point of time, adding won't be recommended. If somebody is holding, one can continue to hold.
Okay, the next query is coming in from Sekhon from Punjab. He wants to know 2 stocks for long term post this current fall. Rajesh, any 2 stocks, what would be your top picks here?
So top picks at this point of time in frontline, large cap, I would say Reliance and HDFC Bank would be the better pick. In mid cap, I would say you can have a look at Deep Industries, you can have a look at IRCTC or Lloyd Metals. These are some of the picks which we have recommended to our clients at this point of time.
All right, so Dhwani, I'm going to come to you since we've already talked about IRCTC. We do have a viewer asking us about any target prices that you have in mind when it comes to Rail Vikas Nigam.
Now, talking about RVNL particularly over here, definitely the stock has been into a downward trend. But what is interesting is that it's holding above its 200 EMA. Given its process on the higher side at 480 odd levels, we'll see a further run up coming in till 550. So on the lower side, keep a stop loss at 450. 550 is a target that you need to hold on for.
All right, so that's the take coming in on RVNL as well. Rajesh, I'm going to come right back to you because what do you have in mind when it comes to BHEL? There's an investor who's written to us about this particular counter. They've not mentioned if what their buy price is and what their time horizon is and when they really purchase this particular stock, but they're asking if this is the right time to hold or sell.
See, one can book some amount of profit if somebody is sitting on a profit. Although the company has got good order book, new orders has poured in, but still on the valuation front, we think that the valuation does stretch at this point of time. The numbers have not been that exciting. They have improved, but considering the kind of valuation it's trading, it's prudent to book some profit.
To book some profit when it comes to BHEL. Dhwani, I'm going to come back to you because do you have any stock recommendations for a shorter duration? There's an investor who wants to know for a duration of 3 to 5 months, which are the counters that you'd be keeping on your radar then?
Amongst the pharma pack, I have Granules on my radar right now. The stock is nearing a breakout level. It's been trading into a zone of 20 and 50 DMA, forming narrow range candles. And from here, given on the higher side, it breaks above the 580 mark and gives a closure above the same. We'll expect a run up coming in this counter, and it should last on the higher side at 650 to 50 odd levels. And from there, we'll see a certain profit booking coming in. So from current levels, Granules is a buy. A stop loss on the lower side that one needs to maintain is going to be of 555, and target are going to be of 600 and 650 over here.
All right, Rajesh, I'm going to come right back to you because we do have Sangeeta writing to us from Pune, wants to know about Tata Motors, 50 shares at a buy price of 900 rupees. Also, other than this, in terms of the auto pack, what do you have in mind in terms of the stocks that you're looking at?
See, Tata Motors at these levels, I think it's almost at its optimum level. So any meaningful upside from these levels would take some amount of time. The company is doing very well, but with the passenger vehicle segment of Tata Motors, especially, we have seen some amount of slowdown coming in. As far as other company in auto pack is considered, I think Hyundai can be a very good pick going forward. It has not given losses from the IPO investors, but with the kind of market share it has in, especially in the EV space, I think this company, CV space, this company can give good returns in the long term. Buying at this price for Hyundai is recommended for a target of 2,300 in the next 1 year.
All right, thanks Rajesh for that take coming in on Tata Motors as well as the auto pack in general. Thank you so much, Dhwani, as well as Rajesh, for taking time out and joining us today and answering all of the queries patiently. But with that, we're completely out of time on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. Don't go anywhere because Anisha and Somit will be taking all of the action forward in Markets and News.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.